All right, everybody. Here we are with our weekly video newsletter. As you can see, I am once again on my own. Alex is traveling to Las Vegas today. She's going out a little bit earlier. Hey, Dustin. See you soon in Vegas. Alex is on her way out there already. All right, so we're going to start with our joke of the week. How many pool players does it take to change a light bulb? 8. One to put the light bulb in, and 8 to say how they would have done it better. So our shout outs are the Hot Pockets, HJ Poolfuls, Stone Cold, and Pocket Ninjas. They were our Tri-Cup winners this week, and the Hot Pockets and Stone Cold are double winners. They won both in the summer and the spring, so they get to split a $2,000 pot unless somebody else wins a double Tri-Cup. Oh, I left last week's team name up. I forgot to name a new team this week. Oh well. If I don't do the newsletter wrong, I'll be dead. That's all I can think of. So our upcoming event this week is our Pool Player Championships. We have, I think we're sending about 25 people out between doubles and singles. And we're very, very excited as always. So in general news, our first Tri-Cup for the season is now in the books. The weekend was uneventful except for me oversleeping. If you were there, you know what happened. And, like, I never oversleep, but I guess I did this time. Thank you to Chris Hinkle for getting the tournament started. I'm very glad I was really prepared, and then all they had to do was hand out the score sheets. But still, I don't know about anybody else, but I myself absolutely hate being late to anything. We're getting ready to have... okay. So they're kind of redundant there. We're also going out to our League Operator Convention. That's where they try to teach us new tricks and stuff to pass on to you guys. I actually teach a class for League Operators on CompuSport. And we are actually top 5 in the singles program. Boy, I'm all over the place with this newsletter, aren't I? Jeez, sorry. We're one of the top 5 leagues in the country with the singles program. Thank you to everyone that runs a singles board. Thank you to a bunch of you because some of you run a lot of boards, like Rachel Wanamaker, and she probably runs the most. Dave Cupp runs quite a few. Kathy Trait runs a bunch of them. And a few other people. I'm sorry that I can't remember everybody. So Dustin has a question about that. We won 9-ball Tri-Cups a few sessions ago and are already qualified and just qualified for Tri-Cups in May again. Do we have an opportunity? Yes, Dustin, you will have money for the opportunity for the money as well. So, I want to talk about the rule reminder. This is one that, for some reason, I keep getting. And probably everybody that's watching knows this rule. But after the break, various circumstances can occur upon completion of the break. They are a foul on a legal break will result in ball in hand for the opponent. No balls are pocketed. It's the opponent's turn. An object ball is pocketed. It's still your turn. If a scratch occurs on the break, the opponent receives ball in hand, which must be executed from behind the head string, shooting at a ball outside the head string. If the object ball is dead center of the head string, or in or out. So what that's talking about is if there's an object ball and 51% of it is past the head string, that is out and you can shoot it. And the same goes for the cue ball. You can set half of it on the line. Most of you know that it's basically the equator of the cue ball or where it touches the table. But the question that I always get is somebody will miscue and they will scratch. And I don't know how many times in league play, and I'm sure a lot of you still do it, that you'll miscue, you'll scratch, and then you give the break to the opponent. Well, that should be marked as a defense because it was still your break. And I don't know how many times we say that. The rack has to be struck before a foul can occur or can be a scratch. And the only time the break goes to the other opponent is if there's a scratch or you don't pocket a ball. So if it's illegal, if it's not a legal break and the rack is not hit, it goes back to the opponent. Thanks, Dustin. Yeah, we were 2 or 3 for a while. I'm not sure where we are right now. I know we're number 1 in our group for 8-ball boards for sure. So that's the rule reminder. I just get that question all the time, and all the time people are wrong. Under our etiquette is get the balls out for your opponent. I think a lot of you don't do that just because you don't in your area. But like even if you go to Las Vegas, you'll see people from everywhere when they pocket the 8-ball or pocket the 9-ball, they put their stick down and they go over and they get the balls out for their opponent. At the very least, at least get the rack out and put it on the table. I mean, there's nothing that says you have to do that, but we just consider it good etiquette around here. And every once in a while I'll see it where somebody, they pocket the 8-ball and then they turn around and they grab their stick and they do this and they do that. And they just don't always do it. And I've seen other teams too where like I saw like Carol Bain was shooting, or her teammate was shooting, and the person that was it was the Carol Bain's player had a rack, so she got out and she helped get the balls out herself and she helped the player rack. I've seen that already, where the teammate will come out and help rack while they're talking to the player. I always think that's really cool. That's our etiquette for the week. So I don't know if Grant Moll's listening. Probably, he's probably working or something. But Grant had a question that is a real common question. And he asked me the other night at the player send-off how you can have 2 skill levels in 2 different league areas. And I said to him, I said that was not the time to answer that question, so I didn't answer it. But I figured I might as well answer it here. And the answer is, I don't really know. Well, I do, but I don't really agree with it. I have stated several times, and I have put it into the APA several times as a suggestion to make everybody have 1 skill level within their entire APAs. It makes no sense to me how you can be a 5 in Chester and a 4 in our area, or you can be a 6 in our area and a 7 in River Valley, or you can be a 7 up in Schuylkill Haven and be a 6 down in Berks County. That to me makes absolutely no sense. And I know we always talk about moving the people up and we never do it. We're real bad with that. But we don't agree with it at all. But it is what it is. Well, I don't make the rules. I think back in the day, and there is crappy league operators now, like some people don't trust their neighbors. Like, for example, if I'm watching a player shoot and I might determine that the player needs to go up a skill level. Well, if I move that player up a skill level and our skill levels are connected, then that player is going to go up a skill level in the other area. And maybe the other league operator doesn't feel that player should be up at that skill level at all. That's really the only complication. But for me, to make us communicate with our neighboring leagues is well worth it. Yeah, Dustin, we are like, we agree that should be a rule. And I several talks with the APA, and even people within the office are wanting to make that happen, but for various reasons they just have not done that yet. So I just wanted to address Grant's question and tell him that like I said, we really don't know, we really don't agree with it, but it's a rule that we have to follow. There, just like I'm sure you guys have rules you don't agree with. Like everybody thinks that the rule that I addressed earlier, if you miscue, that should be an automatic scratch. Well, it's not. Or for example, if somebody shoots the ball if a player breaks and scratches, and then the other player puts the cue ball somewhere in front of the line and shoots whatever ball on the table, is not a foul, and people think that should be a foul. I don't know if I think that should be a foul, but in most leagues it is, so why not? So I don't know. But that's my opinion on that, and that's as best as I could answer it. And I kind of prefer to answer questions like that in a public forum. So that way as many people can see the answer as much as possible. What's up, Kenny? Are you ready for Vegas? Dustin is. Can we clarify if one of your teammates was shooting and he was aiming for the wrong ball, playing 9-ball, and he was shooting at the wrong ball? Is it okay for a teammate to correct him before he shoots the ball? Okay, so let me read the rule. Give me a couple seconds while I pull this up here so I can read it for you. Okay, so I have the team manual open. But what's the best thing about working in front of the computer is I can... Not only can I multitask, I'm giving you the meaning. No, just kidding. Player... Let me just hang on a minute. It's under coaching. There's coaching. Coaching is defined as giving advice to a teammate during their turn at the table. What constitutes coaching is sometimes open to interpretation. Therefore, when your opponent finishes their turn, you are advised to not continue talking to your teammates. Go to the table. No, a timeout must be called before coaching begins. Ineligible players cannot coach or participate in a group consensus. A team can only be charged with a timeout after the rack has been struck in an individual game. Comments? So there's a good point. So before the break, nothing is coaching. Like if your player, like let's say that your partner's in doubles, and I've seen this, the partner put the ball down, got ready to break, was down on the ball, and the other partner said, no, I want you to break from over there. Well, he could do that. He could literally go up, take the cue ball, move it to the other side, because it's not coaching before the rack's been struck. So here's comments that relate to the game situation are considered coaching. Some examples will be deemed of coaching are which ball to shoot, except in 9-ball, where to leave the cue ball, whether to shoot soft or hard, whether to use English, or whether to play safe or defensive. Some examples that are not considered coaching are telling a player if they have solids or stripes, telling a player to mark the pocket shooting the 8-ball, reminding a player which is the next ball in rotation in 9-ball. So there is your bullet point, Matt, for whether that's coaching. Remember, that's not considered coaching. Giving advice or placing the cue ball before the break, as I just said. Reminding a player to talk up, telling a player as fouled, answering a player's question concerning rules, comments such as good hit or nice shot, and conversation with or comments to a player when it's not their turn at the table. So I hope that answers your question. So let me catch more up on the comments. Dustin's, I think it's the same concept of multiple developmental lights. Okay. He's referring to my last one. Oh, Dustin's been doing research on restaurants. That sounds fun. And plus we have our resident Vegas pastry chef going out there with us. Well, he's not really a resident anymore, but Kenny Magano was out there for about 12 years. If an area has more high 6s and 7s, this comes from Kenny. If an area has more high 6s and 7s than another, those players can keep down other skill levels based on percentage. Yes and no. So let me reread this. If an area has more 6s or 7s than another, those players can keep others down based on win percentage. Okay, so I could argue you could say yes because they might beat them more often, and that will possibly affect their win percentage. But on the other hand, and this is my opinion, is if you have a bunch of 6s and 7s, they clear the table off a lot better. So your lower skill players will run your balls off the table faster because they have less obstructions in the way, which therefore drops the innings. So I guess what you lose in, what you gain in win percentage, you may lose in innings, if that makes any sense. So Kenny's talking about the different area skill levels. I think there's several reasons why the skill levels are different in other areas. Like we have you guys, like we're very good with our scorekeeping now. Like if our next door neighbor, if their league operator does not watch the scorekeeping as well and lets you mark fewer innings or whatever, then that will affect your skill level. But we're pretty good at keeping everyone educated, and so that will therefore make our skill levels as legitimate as possible. Now, I'm not saying that Chester or River Valley or MCAPA or Lehigh Valley or any of those places have better or worse scorekeeping than us. I'm just bringing that up as an example. I think the different, I don't know, Kenny. I think the different skill levels is based on a bunch of stuff. Like generally, we've been lower. Like it's been harder to move up. I think the competition in our area is pretty tough these days. All right. Any other questions? I'll wait a minute, see if there's any other questions. This is the forum for you guys to ask questions. Like when Grant the other day asked that question, and I said, chime in and put a comment in, and I will answer it. All right. So next, we're gonna have no, there will be no video live next Monday because Alex and I are going to be in meetings for the APA. I don't think there will be. I mean, maybe we could try to get a quick one going on the way. I am not sure. Rachel says, did you get my text yesterday? Let me look. I know I got a lot of texts yesterday morning when I didn't wake up. Call me when you have a chance. Tried messaging you. All right. All right, I will call you. I'll call you when I get off the meeting. All right. Well, anyway, I don't see any other questions coming in besides that. But give me some questions. Try to stump us. And that's it. So we'll see everybody. Good luck to all of our players in Vegas. Don't forget we're out there if you need anything. And Max will be running the league while we are gone. So you can be pretty sure that it's going to be run well. Better than we do. But it'll be good. All right, everyone. See you probably in 2 weeks. But we will try to... try to get one in. Okay, Dustin, I'll see you Tuesday at dinner time. All right, everyone, have a great day.